Overrides are an additional amount that comes into the school district above the School Finance Act. I have an idea that would build it above statewide base and put it in the School Finance Act, and then it would give incentives by doing that to give districts to do a mill levy. I call it an underwrite, but it could be called anything. That would give the districts incentive to do it because the state would put some extra dollars into the money from the state. The school district did a mill levy underwrite, but it's an idea and it's not law, and we'll work on it this week at the Capitol. So we'll see if I can get it done.
And why do the schools get more money the more at-risk students they have, but don't get more money if they have more gifted and talented students?
Generally speaking, the reason behind that is because the people think that it's more difficult to educate kids 2 and 3 grade levels below grade than it is to educate kids 2 or 3 levels above grade level. So that's just the general formula that is used, and it's the proxy that we use for that is a proxy of how many kids are eligible for free lunch, because those are the kids that generally don't go on to college, whereas gifted and talented kids usually go on to college, and so we don't fund districts based upon gifted and talented as much as we fund them on at-risk.
Okay. I was wondering, what is the state budget stabilization factor?
Formula that's in law, and that formula was created by the 1994 School Act. When we decided to start cutting schools' funding from what the original act was, we underfunded the schools originally about, I think, $200-some million last year. We're projecting to do a $332 million this year from what the formula was. So as opposed to rewriting the formula, the people that carried the School Finance Act last year decided to take a budget stabilization factor and lower by percentage every district, the money that every district gets in the state of Colorado. So if you're a small district like Ellicott, you get $14,000, they get the same percentage reduction as Cheyenne Mountain does. But it's done on a percentage basis. It's not done on a dollar basis. So it's a kind of a funny way to say we're not fully funding the School Finance Act, and we want people to know that we're not.
Why do they have to do an October count?
Because we have to determine a way to pay the school districts for what money they get. So there used to be 2 counts a year. There used to be one in October and one in February. But school districts were declining in enrollment from the start of the school year to the end of the school year. And so they didn't like it because they got less money, because the average the two and gave them a single dollar amount based upon the average. But there's lots of ways to count schools. One is average daily membership, where you adjust it based upon every day of the school year. Another one is average daily attendance, and that means if you don't attend school, your school doesn't get paid. So sometimes Texas does that. So there's lots of different ways to fund school districts, but the October count seems to be a real simple, straightforward way of doing it. So that's why we do it in Colorado.
Do you agree with that, the funding calculation?
Which one?
How you know how much you fund a school?
The way the School Finance Act works currently? Do I agree with how we fund all 178 school districts? There's some inequities, and it doesn't work fairly for every school district, but it's basically, we have it in the Constitution that we will fund schools thorough and uniform, and so it's based upon that concept, and so it's generally pretty appropriate with what other states do across the nation. So the biggest inequity, if you want to talk about an inequity, is a small school district of 500 kids gets about $14,000. A small charter school the same size that has to do all the same functions gets about $6,000. So if there is an inequity in how we fund small charter schools in the state, not how we fund small schools.
How
how we assess property in the state of Colorado, and Gallagher assesses commercial property at 29% of their assessed value and residential property at 8% assessed value. And it's a good deal for people. It's a bad deal for business because it hurts business in the state of Colorado. And but to ever think that people would vote to raise their property taxes back to where they were 30 years ago, would triple their property taxes, I don't think people are going to do that. It would probably go down 4-1. Gallagher is going to be a amendment that we have to move. So that's really a difficult thing to change, because the voters would have to decide to do it.
Why does at-risk funding? Why is that at-risk funding is $800 million for the gifted and talented funding when they're only separated by 4% of the population?
They're only separated by 4% of the population?
Yes.
Of the schools and the kids, school kids?
Gifted and talented is 6%.
Probably the main reason is that if kids are gifted and talented, they can do what we do at Colorado Spring colleges. We can send them to college, and we can use the same money that we have to move them ahead, as opposed to traditionally kids that are way behind. You have to do